The ninth and final short for Star Wars Visions is Akakiri, the second short from Science Saru. This is definitely the most unique short of all of them. The art style is very abstract in character design, but the landscapes and colors used are absolutely stunning. One of the coolest things about this short is the score though. It's almost entirely percussion, just a fast-paced drumming beat that continues throughout the entire short. Everything about this feels just like an original story that turns into Star Wars towards the end really. I think it could be its own anime no problem, and I think that's why it's one of my favorites. It's just so different from the rest. The story begins with a B-wing falling out of the sky and crashing on a planet's surface. The pilot is Jedi Tsubaki, who is quickly attacked as he exits his ship. This isn't the easiest fight for him, however, as during the fight and throughout the short, Tsubaki is plagued by force vision so strong that he gets headaches and it renders him useless as he's beaten down by his enemy. However, he is saved and taken away by Misa, a princess and daughter of a king that was killed by a Sith hidden within the royal family. This event is what brought Tsubaki back in the first place. He wants to help Misa get back to the palace and vanquish the evil within to restore peace to the planet. The bulk of this story is actually traveling, as Misa, Tsubaki, and two other men, Kamahachi and Senshu, make their way towards the palace. Tsubaki wonders why they need these two, as they don't seem fit enough for a fight, but Misa explains that a lot has changed. She is in exile now, and there are a lot of checkpoints, so it's impossible for her to get back into the palace on her own. From here, we get a bunch of great shots of their travels, which makes this short so great. The art of these scenes is just so beautiful, and are a big part of the reason I love Akakiri so much. One of the moments I love the most is after they cross through a really bad rainstorm. After the rain settles, they realize that Kamahachi went missing at some point in their travels. Senshu says to leave him, for it's his destiny, but Tsubaki disagrees, saying that nothing is destined and runs back to find him, saying that he'll meet them in the village. And thankfully, later that night, Tsubaki keeps his promise by returning with Kamahachi. I personally love this scene because at the start of their journey, Tsubaki doesn't think the travel required either of them, but even when Kamahachi went missing, Tsubaki wasn't about to give up on anyone, showing that despite his appearance, he's still a Jedi, willing to protect everyone he can. Plus, because he was able to rescue Kamahachi, they were able to make a plan. Kamahachi and Senshu cause a distraction dressed as Misa and Tsubaki, leading the guards away from the entrance to the palace, while the real Misa and Tsubaki are able to freely make their way through the palace, and this scene really caught me off guard, but in a good way. Through the whole of this short, they are traveling through the wilderness, through mountains and trees, but now in this palace, the look is completely different, almost like they've stepped over into another time or even another show. But Misa and Tsubaki make their way through the palace and finally meet with Masago, the Sith Lord, and the sister to Misa's father. Tsubaki starts fighting with Masago, but isn't able to continue after seeing that Misa, Kamahachi, and Senshu are all held hostage. Tsubaki puts away his lightsaber as Masago reaches out with her hand, and as she does, the Force vision returns to Tsubaki and he begins to stumble. In this moment, he's been told that everything is destiny from the beginning, but he refuses and with his eyes turning an evil red color, draws his lightsaber, cutting down Masago's guards, including one that's in disguise. Misa. She was dressed up as a guard and thrown in front of Tsubaki, bringing his vision to life. Tsubaki collapses in shock over what he's just done, but Masago tells him that she's not gone, and he can save her if he just opens his mind to the powers beyond a Jedi. Tsubaki accepts this and becomes Masago's apprentice, saving Misa from death and flying away with his new master, telling Misa he did what had to be done, ending Akakiri and the first anthology for Star Wars Visions. This was a really cool short, and I think it's really slept on out of all of Star Wars Visions. While it is unique in style, it's really a retelling of the story of Anakin's fall to the dark side, accepting the role of apprentice to the Dark Lord in order to save someone he truly cared about, but with the twist that Tsubaki was actually able to save her. I would be so interested in learning what happens next. Would Misa attempt to go after and save Tsubaki? Or would we get more details on the flashbacks that happened within the story? What do you think? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. And remember, the Force will be with you. Always.